What's up, everybody? This is the Hedge Mage, and welcome back to another Popper video. So today, what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be uh telling you guys on a recent update I made to one of my favorite decks. Recently had I think a couple weeks ago now had played this deck at Friday Night Magic. Did do very well with it, though some of my experiences playing the deck has caused me to want to add some updates to it, which I have not added any updates to the list in quite some time. But a lot of times I do find myself wanting to respond to lots of play patterns that we're seeing in either the overall meta or even just my local meta. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely stick around as I'll be going over the updates that I've made as well as kind of explaining my reasons behind it. As always, if you would like to support the channel and the kind of janky content that I'm creating, you could leave a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and also just share your thoughts on what we're talking about in today's video. I would greatly appreciate the support. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. So the deck that I've just updated is a mono blue fairies, and it's been some minor updates, but I kind of just want to talk about them. Is one of the things that I have done is I was running one copy of Brine Barrow Intruder, and I recently decided to swap out that copy of the Intruder for a Mistblade Shinobi, and there is a reason for that. So since the ban of a Monastery Swift Spear, I haven't really used the Brine Bear Intruder very much against my opponent's creatures, as it doesn't really seem to do a whole lot against a lot of them. I know some lists are still running it. I haven't truly found it very useful, especially since I recently took a couple out for Snare Master Sprite. Um, but yeah, the Mistblade Shinobi is something that I want to try out now. And it was in, I think, one of the original lists that I made. I took it out mostly because I think I was running maybe three or four of them in the list. And I did take it out to bring in the Brine Barrow Tuners as they were very good against Monastery Swiftspear, especially if you were on the play. And they turn one Swift Spear, you could basically, with immunogenic growth, kill their Swift Spear very, very easily, as well as taking away their power. So it was a huge nerf to Swift Spear, but now that Swift Spear is gone, it's definitely seeming to be much less useful. But the big thing with the Mistblade Shinobi is that I can basically bounce whatever creature they have that has all the glitters attached to it, which is, I think, one of the major threats in the format at the moment. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring it in, is if they have all the glitters attached to it and I didn't have a counterspell available at the moment, I can ninjutsu in the Mistblade Shinobi and bounce that. And it doesn't matter if it's a animated indestructible land at that point, or, whatever creature that has evasion, like maybe it's a ginger brute or an ornithopter, whatever it happens to be, maybe it's a glinthawk with it on. That basically gets rid of their creature, at least temporarily, but also it gets rid of all the glitters, which is the important part. Them continuing to have all the glitters attached to something is going to hurt us in the long run. So that is why I'm very, very interested in running this card, and I think it is going to be a pretty good include in the deck. Definitely Mono Blue Fairies has kind of fallen off a bit, though I do maintain the feeling that it's still a pretty strong deck. There are a lot of cards that really trump it, but there's also been a lot of cards that really trump it. I mean, electricity has been around for a long time. That hasn't disappeared from the format, though things like Cast in the Fire definitely really hurt. And I think one of the biggest things that really trumps this deck right now is a Murmuring Mystic. So other blue decks being able to create tons and tons of 1/1 birds, it's really hard to really get any damage through and ninjutsu anything, as that is the core of what the deck does. And that is why I'm bringing one other card in my sideboard. So that card is Echoing Truth. So I decided to drop Curfew as unless I'm going up against a Bogle's matchup, that's really one of the only matchups that it is the best in. And for a while, Bogles was dominating the metagame, but it has been less so, though I do see a fair bit of Bogles being played at my LGS. Decided to go Echoing Truth, as then that does really sweep the board for a couple matchups. It works is very good against Koldatha Res as it gets rid of all of their Goblin tokens, and very good against any deck running Murmuring Mystic as it gets rid of all of the bird tokens, allowing us to do what we want to do. Um, and then there's been no other changes in the sideboard. So against Bogles, we've still got the four annuls, so I still feel pretty good there because we can bring in four annuls. But the big issue really is the Murmuring Mystic. So we can Echoing Truth all the birds they've created. We can then hopefully bounce their Murmuring Mystic, and ideally at that time we will make sure we have a counter spell available, or making sure that we're keeping up enough mana to counter it, because once that card resolves, it's really an uphill battle for mono blue fairies. So that card is just such a backbreaking card for the deck. But that is pretty much my updates for the deck. Basically nothing else has changed. I have been thinking of taking out maybe one mutagenic growth, and work and think about bringing in another smoke shroud, as sometimes we do want to just consistently get more damage through without the cost of our own life total, and this can be really good with our ninjas so we can keep drawing cards since they will then have flying. And also thinking one card that I've been really enjoying too is Snare Master Sprite. Especially late game, we can really tempo out our opponents and get a lot more damage through that way while also holding them back. So that's the update, guys. So I would very much be interested to hear what you think about these updates to Mono Blue Fairies down in the comment section below. As always, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you all next time.